How do you make your life count? Is it by tallying up a scoreboard of money or fame or followers or awards? Like literally, you're going to lose all of that and no one's going to remember or care about any of that stuff.
Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And buckle up your chin straps today, boys and girls, because you have a powerful episode today with my man, Rory Vaden. Guys, I ain't gonna wait. We're gonna dive into this episode right now. Rory and his wife, AJ, just wrote the book, Wealthy and Well Known. It is awesome, and we're gonna give the book away for free. Are you kidding me? We give the information in the show notes and during the episode. So let's buckle up and let's dive into this episode with the one and the only Rory Vaden right now. We are back. And yes, we have Rory Vaden on the line. Rory, welcome to the show.
Hey, Todd. So good to see you, man. I'm always so energized by your presence. And I hope we can make something great for the people listening today.
Man, thank you. It's great to see you as well. It's been a minute since we caught up. I know you were on the Impact Show a while back, and you and your wife just created a new book. I want to talk about that in a minute. First book in, 10 years?
Yeah, so it was my first book in 10 years. I had a book called Take the Stairs, which came out years ago, which is really how I became known as an author. And then we sold our first company, and so we had to start over. And so it's taken us a while. And I co-authored this with my wife, who was also my business partner, and she's also the CEO of Brand Builders Group. And it's her first book ever. So yeah, it's been a minute. And if you're cool with it, if people stay tuned, we'll give it away. We'll give it away to your whole audience for free on audiobook if they want it, if they stick around.
Absolutely. And I just want to acknowledge you. I shared it in the intro, guys, but Rory and I connected several years ago in the midst of the pandemic. I went down to Nashville. We spent time together. And between Rory and his team and the small group of entrepreneurs who were down there in Nashville, made a huge impact on me. And much of what I share with the books that I've written all the way up to Coaching Greatness have been impacted by Rory and his brand builders team. So I want to say thank you, Rory, for what you're doing for not just me, but for so many authors, personal brands, which I want to get into because you do such an amazing job with your team and those you're working with on the personal branding side as well. So thank you.
Yeah, well, it's an honor, buddy. It's an honor to work with you. And it's just crazy. I had no idea what God was going to do. We had no plan to start this company. We got a phone call from Lewis Howes.
Yep.
I had been friends with him casually. He asked me to help him. And it was right after we sold our last business. And then he was the one that said, man, this is what you were born to do, because it was such a powerful experience. And then then we started working with Ed Milet and Amy Porterfield and John Maxwell and Trent Shelton and Jasmine Starr. And then, we've worked with some people in the health and the mental health space. So Dr. Gabrielle Lyon was there when at the same training that you were. And then Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. Caroline Leaf and Dr. Josh Axe. So, I think personal branding, as we define it, is not what people think. It's not logos and social media and it's not colors and topography. It's right. Digitization of your reputation. Mm-hmm. And it's about your personal brand is not about you. It's not about you. That you are not the mission. The message is the mission. Getting your message out to people is the mission. And so, at this point, we have now worked behind the scenes with many of the biggest personal brands in the world. But what a lot of people don't realize, Todd, is that most of our clients are not the super famous, people. They are everyday experts and entrepreneurs. They're professional service providers. They're doctors and lawyers and chiropractors and CPAs. They're stay-at-home moms with a side hustle. They're,
That's right.
All those kind of franchisees. They're coaches and consultants. But everybody has a story that can help someone else, and that's why we do this.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job at it. And folks, if you want to really dive in even more than you're doing on the personal branding side, I can't recommend reaching out to Rory and his team. We'll give you all that in the show notes, including what I want to talk about today is his new best-selling book, Wealthy and Well-Known. And he's got a co-author, his wife, AJ Vaden. There it is, Wealthy and Well-Known. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see that Rory's holding it up. It just came out here in July of 25. So we're excited about that. What inspired you and AJ to write Wealthy and Well-Known, and why now?
Yeah, well, the best piece of personal branding advice I've ever received came from a gentleman named Larry Winget. And early in my career, Larry gave me the secret. He told me, he said, the goal is to find your uniqueness so that you can exploit it in the service of others. And it's the first time I heard that, I was like, that's it. That's what this is about. It's about exploiting your uniqueness in the service of others. And yet, Larry wasn't really in the business of teaching people how to do it. And so we set out on a mission to go, let's create a process and a system and a structure for how someone can find their uniqueness, how they can figure out what's the thing that they can do that nobody else can do. What's their uncopyable difference? What is their God-given design? Like, what is their divine identity? And I'll tell you the secret shortcut, because we didn't know this when we first started the company. And so, the way we started the company was with Lewis, and we took him through a 2-day experience. That's called Finding Your Brand DNA. We still do that 2-day experience today. That's our core business, as we coach people one-on-one. Well, we started to then codify that process in the book. And that's, what the book is about. Of course, we're going to give the audiobook away for free here in a minute, but I'll give you the gist of it, because now, having gone through this with hundreds of clients, we noticed a pattern, Todd. And the pattern is this: for all of us, you are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. You're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were.
Unpack
that. That is where our uniqueness lies. That is the shortest path to figuring out. And that's what we've discovered is so many people think their credibility comes from how many followers they have, or if they've been in the media, or if they have fancy degrees after their name. And what we found is that the end user customer, they don't care about any of that stuff, and they don't need any of that stuff. They don't need your degrees. They don't need your like endorsements. They just need someone who can help. And you're most qualified to be able to help someone who's going through something you have been through. And so what we've been able to do is use that as a tethering point to establish a foundation for people. And then from there, we've been able to build these huge businesses, alongside people.
I love that. I love it. You said that when we were together 3 years ago, and I've hung on to that. I've quoted you a bunch on that, Rory, because I remember in that room and we were all trying to get to our divine uniqueness. We were talking about that, right? You're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. And we're talking about divine uniqueness, and we're trying to really define it into a sentence. And I remember you saying this, you're like, well, Todd, as a coach and a trainer, you help get people's mojo back. You said previously high performers, right, get their mojo back so they can perform again. That's from you. That's right. Sometimes you need to hear other people almost define it to you, like, oh yeah, that's what I do, because you're trying to get it into a statement of what you do, so that when you say that, like, you're most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. Because I was coming out of a dark time. I was in the middle of a dark time with COVID and my knees and my back and my physical health and all this stuff. And I was like, yes, that's right. I can help all these people. Because sometimes when you're walking through it, you're like, man, why is this happening to me? And God, what are you doing? And I'll never forget that. I go back to it quite often now, because your story becomes a blessing on how you can bless other people through what you've been through. And I just love that quote and what you and Wing It came from.
You're in our world, your story is the strategy. Like, your story is the strategy. And, like a lot of people, I'm a huge fan of Simon Sinek. I love Simon Sinek's work. I think he's one of the most brilliant thinkers on the planet. And he popularized a phrase, though, that I disagree with. So he, popularized the phrase "start with why."
Mm.
And at least for personal brands, he talks to more of a corporate audience anyway. So I think that's really more what he's talking about. But with personal brands, I would highly recommend that you do not start with why. Instead, you should start with who. And the reason is because once you're clear on who you're serving, every single other downstream decision becomes clear. You know exactly where you need to advertise or show up. You know exactly what words to use in your marketing collateral to catch their attention. You know exactly what products to create because you know what problems you need to solve. You know how to price it because you know what that person can afford, which means you know what type of team you need to build in order to create those products, which means you know what type of technological infrastructure you need to invest in to support. Like everything becomes clear the moment you're clear on who. But when we try to find our why, we go, well, I want to change the world. And then we go, well, that means you need to advertise to the whole world. And you got to try to talk to everybody. And you got to create products that everybody wants to buy, which means you gravitate towards commoditization. That's the definition of commoditization, the lowest level of specialization with the broadest appeal. So one of the things we've also discovered recently that's been a surprise about our work is that, we're business people. And so we people hire us to help them become more wealthy and more well-known, to make money, to grow their business, to drive more leads. But what we've noticed is that there is a intersection between business practicality and your divine spirituality. So, for example, on this point where we say start with who, I just gave you like 10 reasons why starting with who is really powerful and clarifying. But here's the other thing that we have figured out that's more of like the divine spirituality. For most of us, our why is actually a who. Our reason why for succeeding is because of a who. We want to provide for our kids. We want to make our grandparents proud. We want to live up to, a badge of honor or a title that we've received of like, I'm a Marine, or I'm an athlete, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a first responder, or I'm a doctor, or, I'm a thought leader, or I'm a pastor. We want to serve some underserved piece of our community, some group of people that we feel like there's been an injustice. And the reason that we call our audience mission-driven messengers. What really makes them on fire is not trying to have more money. It's not about making more income. It's really about making more impact. We like money. It's just that money is subservient to the mission. We like revenue, but revenue is subservient to reputation. What really matters is the person that you're trying to help, and going, I want to relentlessly surrender my life to service and being useful to other people. That's where motivation and drive really, really come from for someone who's a mission-driven messenger, which is, our core audience.
Yeah, so good. So good. So you and AJ write the book, and it just launches. It's doing great, wealthy and well-known. I want to dive into it, and then we're going to give it away. I want to give the book away, guys. We're going to provide that link for you, but I want to just share a few things out of the book. One thing you talk about is reputation formula. Can you walk us through that reputation formula?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you remember, I said earlier that we think of personal branding as, the way we define it is the formalization, the digitization, the monetization, and the multiplication of your reputation. So when you hear personal branding in our world, don't think technology and algorithms and like what camera to use, right? Think of reputation, think of trust, think of integrity, think of expertise, right? That's the people that we've been able to help the most often feel like they're the world's best kept secret. Like a lot of our clients come to us And it's like they have the real expertise. They're not the flash in the pan, smoke in the mirror kind of people. They're the people who spent their life creating real solutions, but they're being outperformed by people who are better marketers and people who have fancier cameras and people who spend more money on ads and like that kind of stuff. And we're able to help them sort of like marry the two and level up. But if you go, where does reputation come from? This comes back to your question of the reputation formula. So reputation, we have something called the reputation formula, which simply says reputation is the result of your results times your reach. Results times reach equals reputation. And part of the epiphany of this is what got us into this business, because so many, if you said which one matters more, is it results or reach? A lot of us want it to be results. I frankly want it to be results. I feel like your character, your substance, your expertise, that's what should matter the most, right? But here's a little pop quiz, okay? So have you ever heard of someone named Katie Ledecky? Well, you're in sports, so maybe you have heard of Katie. Do you know who Katie Ledecky is?
Yes, the swimmer.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so most people don't have any idea who Katie Ledecky is.
Come on now, you're in my arena.
You're a sports guy, so you know. But Katie Ledecky is the winningest female Olympian of all time. So most people have never heard of her. But if I say, do you know who Michael Phelps is? Everybody goes, I know who Michael Phelps is. He is the winningest female Olympian of all time also. He's from the United States and he's a swimmer. Katie Ledecky is also from the United States and is also a swimmer. Everybody knows him. Very few people know her. They have results that are super comparable, but their reach, for whatever reason, neither of them are clients of ours, is very, very different. And so if you are the world's best kept secret, I don't mean to offend you, but that's not a compliment. You're not helping anyone by being the world's best kept secret. I mean, if you have the cure for cancer and you're sitting in your basement not sharing it with anyone, I think all of us would quickly agree and go, that is a massive disservice to humanity. And here's what we've also discovered, like a lot of times, right? And we're hardcore Bible thumping Jesus freaks around here, right? So AJ and I, so we put that out there, right? But Brand Builders Group is a secular company, but AJ and I are like massive Jesus freaks. And you know, like a lot of people, and particularly if you're like spiritual or Christian, a lot of times we try to hide behind humility, but in reality, it is we're allowing our fear of failure to mask as humility. We're really scared that no one's going to like our stuff. We're really scared that no one's going to pay attention. We're really scared that we're not going to succeed. We're really scared. We have imposter syndrome, like someone else will do it better. And then we mask it in humility. But right. Colossians 3:23 says you should do your work unto the Lord. Well, if you're doing your work unto the Lord, you should be bold. You should be assertive. It should be amazing. It should be high quality. It should change the world, right? Like Jesus said, go out and preach to all the world. Like it's God is a big God who moves in big ways. And regardless of where you stand spiritually, we go, again, it's not about you. It's not about you being famous or being the best kept secret. It's about you serving other people and you making a difference. And so most people who are listening, if resonating with them, I bet they are the people who go, man, I'm good at what I do. I know how, in my area of expertise, I know how to change someone's life. I know how to help them. But a lot of times they can also self-assess and go, I struggle with reach. There's not enough. I struggle to tell people. Some of it is emotional. Like I have a hard time. I have a fear of being self-promotional. I have this fear of like vain ambition. I have this fear of being like, perceived as like vanity. But you only feel fear when you're thinking about yourself, right? You're worried about how you appear.
Good point.
But there is no fear when the mission to serve is clear.
Yep.
The
Yep.
moment you stop worrying about that and you just go, I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to be useful. I'm trying to be helpful. That's where the power is. So the reach matters.
So, Roy, what do you think then is the biggest misconception that people have about becoming well known? Yoo-hoo! Yeah, you know who it is. That's right. Time to get your mind right. You've been hearing me talk about it nonstop since July. And I've been like, get your mind right, get your mind right, get your mind right. But my friends, now is the time to help get other people's minds right as well. You've been hearing me talk about the Get Your Mind Right Mindset Coaching Certification Program. If you're a parent, if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, this might be the time to pull the trigger to help more kids get their minds right. Athletes, if you're looking to help get your kids' minds right, this is a certification. I partnered with my good friend Andrew Simpson, who's also a mindset coach. In the 20 years I've been doing this with my NFL, MLB, baseball athletes, my youth athletes, this program is designed to not only get people's minds right, but to help get them through the best time of their life. Well, what's supposed to be the best time of their life. And what I want to just say is this. I have had such tremendous feedback since we launched this just last year, July, of people saying, man, Todd, thank you so much for this. We need it. As an industry, in sport, we need it. Yes, we do. My friends, the call out is for you as a parent, as a coach, as a trainer. If you have been considering it, now is the time. Why? Because on Labor Day, that's right, on Labor Day, my favorite holiday, the price is going up. Because it's everything before Labor Day. You're going to have incredible bonuses and pricing available on the Get Your Mind Right Mindset Coaching Certification. So just hop over to gymrcoaching.com. GYMR Coaching, that stands for Get Your Mind Right Coaching. So gymrcoaching.com. Take advantage of the amazing specials that still exist. If you're a parent, if you're a trainer, or you're a coach, now is a time to become a Get Your Mind Right Mindset Coach. I'll see you on the inside.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest misconception they have is like the same as the biggest mistake, which is that, if you look at people in any industry or vertical or geography, there's two different groups of people. There are those who are unknown, right? They're living in obscurity. And then there are those who are well-known. They have notoriety. And in between these two groups is a large invisible wall that we refer to as Sheehan's wall. And I named this after a colleague of mine named Peter Sheehan. And you've heard this because I talked about this when we were together. But basically, what people who are unknown do is they tend to look at the people who are well-known and they want to emulate what they do, right? So you look at athletes, they look at The Rock, right? And they go, oh, like, man, I want to be like The Rock because he owns a football league and he owns a sports drink and he owns a tequila company and he owns a clothing line and he owns a production company and he owns men's facial products now and he's an actor and it's like they look at him and go, look at all these streams of revenue. I want to be like The Rock. I want to have lots of streams of revenue. Or they look at Gary Vaynerchuk and they go, man, Gary V, like he talks about sports and music and entertainment and wine and crypto and social media. Like I'm multi-passionate, so I want to talk about a lot of these different things. And what they fail to realize is that when you have diluted focus, you get diluted results. And so what most people do is they bounce off the wall because they're talking to too many different audiences, like too many types of audiences on too many different platforms about too many messages, trying to monetize in too many different ways. And they bounce off the wall. And what they fail to realize is you can't look at what famous people are doing now. You have to look at what they did. And in the beginning, every famous person got famous for doing one thing. Every rich person, like multiple streams of revenue, is the dumbest piece of advice on the internet today. Nobody who got rich from multiple streams of income. I promise. The way you get rich is having one amazing, high-performing stream of income. Yes, The Rock has multiple streams of income now, but in the beginning, he was just a wrestler.
That's right.
And that's how he broke through the wall. In the beginning, Gary Vaynerchuk talked about one topic, wine, on one platform, YouTube, right? Alex Rodriguez, before he invested in a million things, he was a baseball player. Even Elon Musk, yes, he owns Tesla and SpaceX and Twitter X. Like, I know that. But if you look at his life journey, in the beginning, he made all of his money from one thing, PayPal, right? Jeff Bezos has one company, Amazon. Like, Sarah Blakely made her money from one thing.
Yep.
So their big misconception is that, like, I have to be everywhere, talking to all the people, monetizing all the ways. That's a recipe for failure.
That's good. So how do you know when to diversify?
Well, simple. You diversify when you have excess. That's when you diversify, right? So remember what I said. If you have diluted focus, you get diluted results.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, to run and operate multiple companies, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be your focus. It has to be someone's focus.
Good point.
So
Good point.
Once you have enough money to pay a highly trained CEO and operator, and that business has enough revenue to survive on its own, like, then you can do the next thing, right? So once the current thing is operating in full steam, on autopilot, reaching its full potential, then you can go do the next thing. Yeah. But if your current thing is marginal and mediocre, and you somehow think starting another thing is going to help you, you are badly mistaken. Like, you're going to make it way worse. Like, you must be excellent at one thing and then put the people and processes in place to keep that thing going before you do the next thing. And there is no counterexample to that.
So good. So good. Guys, I'm talking to Rory Vaden. You can check him out, brandbuildersgroup.com, brandbuildersgroup.
Oh, no. Let's give away the audiobook. Let's give away the audiobook. Yeah, let's tell everybody where to go. All right. So here's the thing. So the book is called Wealthy and Well-Known, Build Your Personal Brand, Turn Your Reputation into Revenue. And one of the things we've never done with any of my other books before is we're giving the audiobook away for free. So here's where you go. The whole audio, there's no catch. You can go download the whole audiobook. You don't have to pay anything. And if you download it now, you get lifetime access. I'm not sure how long we'll make this available, but if you do download it, you get to keep it forever. So you go to freebrandaudio.com/Durkin. Yeah. freebrandaudio.com/Durkin. So Durkin, like Todd Durkin. So freebrandaudio.com/Durkin. And if you go there, you can download the entire audiobook. You can go through the whole thing for free. Of course, if you like reading the hardcovers, you can buy it, but go there first and get that. And then we'll tell you how to stay connected with us after that, if you're interested.
Rory, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm trying to pump up Brand Builders Group. He's like, no, let's give the book away for free. That's the kind of guy that Rory is. And he just wants to give this away, altruistically. So you go read it, or listen to it here, freebrandaudio.com/Durkin, on that. Do yourself a favor. Just go there, check it out, get the book, listen to it, on that. You know, when you wrote Wealthy and Well-Known, I have a question on the book. Is it possible to be wealthy and not well-known, or vice versa? Right. So, and still be fulfilled Could you have to be wealthy and well-known? Could you be one or the other? And if you only have one, can you still be fulfilled, which all of us want?
Yeah. So in the epilogue of the book, and now you all can get it for free, so you'll be able to listen to this. In the epilogue, we redefine what it means to be wealthy and well-known. So we go basically through the whole book, teaching you the system that we've used to be a part of helping build some of the biggest personal brands in the world. And then at the end, I talk about wealth. And Todd, I think you know this. I grew up. I was born to a single mom. And my mom had been divorced twice and had 2 kids from 2 different dads by the time she was 22. So she had my brother when she was a teenager, and then she had me, and then my biological father left when I was 6 months old. And so we grew up with very little. When I was born, we lived in a trailer. We moved around a lot. We had a lot of love, but we never had much money. So I grew up poor, right? Like, not extreme desolate poverty, but like we had nights not knowing where our meal was going to come from, that kind of a thing. And I grew up because of that, thinking originally that wealth was an abundance of money. And so that drove me to be very ambitious, right? I was valedictorian. I was an All-American athlete. I got a full ride scholarship. I I was a top performer in a direct sales company. I became the world champion of public speaking, first runner-up in my 20s. I became a New York Times bestselling author when I was 29. I had a TED Talk go viral. I was the youngest person inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Professional Speaking Hall of Fame. But I was very self-centered. And then I also got very busy, because you go, okay, we're building a business, we're doing these things. And so then I realized, you know what? I don't think wealth is an abundance of money. I think wealth is an abundance of time. And so then that was like, all right, how do we create more margin in our life? And that was part of what my TED Talk was around. My TED Talk that went viral was called How to Multiply Time. And that's what my second book was about. But then my entrepreneur friends would sell their companies, get millions of dollars, and then they would be extremely depressed. They had all the time in the world and all the money they could ever have, and they would be extremely depressed. We would meet these athletes who would retire, have money and fame and time, and be so depressed. And so now today, where I've landed is I really believe that wealth is not an abundance of money. Wealth is not an abundance of time. Wealth is simply an abundance of peace. We believe that peace is the new profit.
So good. So good.
And peace, ironically, is available to all of us instantly through our Creator, right? It's through knowing that your eternity is secure in Jesus, and knowing that He knows you, and that you're well known by your Creator. But even if you don't believe that, right? If you're not a Christian, or you're not sure where you stand on the church thing, if you just separate that out and go, somebody once asked Jesus, so this is recorded in the Gospels, I think it's in a few of the Gospels, but like somebody asked Jesus, what's the most important commandment? And they're referring to what we now call the Old Testament, which used to be called the Law and the Prophets. And the Old Testament used to have, I think it was like 617, ancient Jewish laws. And Jesus boils all of it down, and He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, love God and love others. And I think Jesus nailed it right there, just gave it to us. But even if you don't love God, or you're not sure where you're at on the God thing, all of us can inherently and intuitively appreciate the power and the value of loving others. And people say that love is spelled T-I-M-E. I don't agree with that either. I think love is spelled S-E-R-V-E. Love is about service. You don't have to spend all day, every day with someone to love them, but you have to serve them in their time of need. You have to be there. You have to help them. You have to care enough about someone to give whatever you have access to support another. And here's the great irony. And this is so ironic. Remember when I said earlier, there's like, we started on this like business practicality, but then have like stumbled into this intersection of this spirituality, which is like, the irony is that personal branding is not about you. Like if you go to pursue rich and fame, you're going to end up being lonely. Like people who pursue happiness tend to find loneliness because we're seeking a feeling, and that leads us towards addictions and indulgences and temptations and worldly things. But if you, instead of pursuing happiness, you pursue service, and you focus not on yourself, but on helping someone else, happiness shows up as a byproduct. Fulfillment shows up as a byproduct. Deep, genuine joy and lasting satisfaction shows up as a byproduct. There's nothing like the feeling you get when you help another person. And this is what it means to be well known. To be well known, you just have to help one other person in a deep, meaningful way. Right. And to that person, you're famous. To that person, you matter. To that person, your life counts. It's not about being known in a shallow way to millions of strangers on the internet. That's not what this is about. And by the way, that's not how people get rich doing this. You get rich by serving a small audience in a deeper way. It's how you get rich financially and spiritually. It's by mattering in a deep way to a small number of people. That's what being well known is really all about.
So good. So good. So good. Rory, even since I've known you for a few years now, I feel like at least I've seen your faith deepen and you unequivocally share your faith even more. I just want to go there for a second because I'm curious, because I get this question all the time, like how you share your faith. And has it been a good thing for you? Has it been a hard thing for you to share it? Has there been a positive uptick, a down tick? Because I get questions a lot from this podcast on when I share my faith. You have put yourself out there. I know in the last, I feel like 1 to 2 years, more than I've ever seen. And I love it. I love seeing what you're doing. And I feel like it's just authentically you. What's that around? Like, what's that about? Because it's different than what I've seen.
Yeah, I love that you asked this. This was not in our. This is not in our. I don't get asked this a lot, so I'll happy to tell you.
Thank you.
So the truth is, it had a lot to do with having kids. So what happened was I was putting my oldest son Jasper down one night, and he hits me with the, we're like doing prayers or whatever, and he hits me with this question. He says, "Daddy, where does God live?" And I was like, "Oh man, like." What a question, right? And so I'm like, I
how old was he? How old was Jasper then?
He's like 5 years old at the time.
Yeah,
he's like 5 years old. And so I take my hand and I put it like right on his chest, and I go, you know what, Jasper, like God lives right here, and he's everywhere, and he's all around, but he's right here, and he'll never leave you. And Jasper looks at me, Todd, and he goes, God lives in my nipple? True story. He says, God lives in my nipple? And I was like, oh, buddy. I mean, I was like, well, kind of. So then what happens is that night I'm asleep and I wake up, honestly, in the middle of the night. I had a good laugh about that. But then I woke up, God woke me up in the middle of the night, terrified. Because I didn't used to be a believer, Todd. I'm a very nerdy, analytical, data-driven skeptic. My undergrad was accounting. I have a t-shirt that says I love spreadsheets. Like, we invested $100,000 in a national research study just to have data for this book. Like, I'm a nerd. But what happened was I started studying. I was faced with this question, which is, what is my strategy for death? And as an analytic, I was like, man, I don't really have a great strategy for that. And so I started exploring different things. And of course, Christianity, some of that comes up. And I started exploring this. And I was super skeptical. I'm like, how could anyone believe that a human was somehow like the son of God? And like, what maniac thinks that somebody would actually rise from the dead and that they performed miracles when no one else has ever done that? And I started exploring this. Well, I looked at the archaeology, the science, the logic, the academic support, and I became a deeply convicted believer in like my early 30s. But I was afraid to talk about it publicly. And then what happened is when Jasper asked me that question, I woke up terrified because I thought, oh my goodness, what happens if I get hit by a truck tomorrow and I die before Jasper's ever old enough for me to explain to him all the logical, rational, historical evidence that Daddy studied that led me to become a Christian? And so I was like, I need to write all this down. I mean, I had such a sense of urgency. I'm like, and what I did is I was like, I'll write this down. So I'm just going to go write down everything. So I made an outline that the outline was 95 pages.
What?
I had no idea that I had learned so much. And so then I told AJ, I was like, I'm going to record this. Like, I'm a podcaster, so I have a recording. I'm like, I'm going to go record this. So I go record systematically everything about everything from how do we know Jesus was a real person to what evidence is there that he was a deity, what prophecies were there, how are the prophecies reliable, which ones came true, what evidence is there that he died scientifically, what evidence is there of a resurrection, like all these things. And I record it, and it's 27 hours of just methodical this. I used to doubt this, and then I found this, and then I doubted this, and then I found this, and then I doubted this. And AJ said to me, because I recorded it for Jasper and Liam, who's my youngest, and AJ said, she said, you need to release this as a podcast.
Right.
And I was like, oh, no, I do not.
AJ's a smart cookie.
And she said, she's like, you need to do this. And I said, babe, what if people cancel with Brand Builders Group? What if people cancel what if I get canceled on social media? Like, what happens if I lose book deals and speaking engagements? And she said to me, Todd, she looks me dead in the eye and she goes, are you worried about what people would think, or do you care more about what God would think? She lit me up, bro.
Whoa.
Lit me up. And so I was like, all right.
Oh, that's good.
We now 27 hours of content was a little too much to release on our normal podcast, because our normal podcast is called The Influential Personal Brand. So it's like, that's a pretty big departure of. So we started a separate podcast. This is free. Also, this is out there. If anyone's curious, you can go. So the podcast is called Eternal Life: 7 Questions Every Intelligent Skeptic Should Ask About Jesus of Nazareth. And the goal is not to convince you to be a believer.
That's the name of it? That's the name of it?
The podcast is just called Eternal Life.
Eternal Life, okay.
Eternal Life. The subtitle is 7 Questions Every Intelligent Skeptic Should Ask About Jesus. So it's totally free. Like, we don't even have anything to sell. We don't have we have nothing to sell for that. It has nothing to do with our business. And so we put it out there. And you know what happened, Todd? We actually did have 2 clients that canceled. 2 clients wrote us in and they said, you know what? We're just not comfortable with how, you're a Christian and you share your faith, and we don't believe that. And it was painful because they're clients that we cared about. Like, we actually really loved them. And they were just like, one of them told the story. They had some like church hurt, and they just were like, I don't trust the church and Christians. And I was totally, so AJ refunded them. She's our CEO. So she just said, no problem, you're out. So 2 people canceled. The flip side is we have had hundreds of people flock to us, and not all of them Christian. We've had people who have bought from us because they said, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe what you believe. But the fact that you would be so transparent.
That's right.
Makes me trust you, that you're not going to hide things from me.
I love it.
That you're not concerned about what other people think, that you are who you say you are. And, a lot of people have become believers through listening to the podcast. And, I'm sure a bunch maybe haven't, but we have some people that have written us in that have said, so whether you're a brand new Christian or a seeker, or you're like me, who was someone who kind of believed and grew up in the church, but didn't really know why and had no idea. So that's what we did, man.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, you talk about left turn. We didn't plan on going there, but folks, if you want, go to Eternal Life, 7 Questions Every Skeptic Should Ask About Jesus. If you want more information, I just have personally seen even the more authentic Rory Vaden and who he is, and follow him on social media. You'll see that.
Well, and bro, here's the other thing too, is just like, at the end of the day, Jesus is my only strategy. Like, we like to teach some business stuff that hopefully helps, right? Like, we've had more than 10 of our clients have grown their annual revenue more than $1 million a year since being a BBG client. We've had 70 clients that we've helped become best-selling authors. 6 clients have had TED Talks go viral. Like, there's a lot of business stuff we teach, but like, at the end of the day, if there's a nuclear war, like, Jesus is my only strategy. Like, if AI takes over the world, like, Jesus is my only strategy. Yeah. When death comes for me, and it will, and I don't know when, but it will, like, none of this other stuff is going to make a lick of difference, like zero difference. So what I realize is Jesus is my only strategy. So to not talk about that felt disingenuous.
Yeah.
Well, and I was scared at first, but AJ lit me up, bro, and she set me.
I love it. Right. Our wives are always right. Good job, AJ. Good job. I love it. A few more questions as we close down here. I love legacy. This is the Impact Show, Impacted Legacy. How has fatherhood changed your view of what it means to be wealthy and well known?
Man,
I'll
tell you what.
Tell me about
fatherhood has helped me understand God. How? Because my kids, those little punks steal, they make a mess, they break crap all the time, they take all of my money, they wake me up in the middle of the night, they made AJ sick to her stomach when she was birthing them, like all sorts of physical pain for her. Like, they make our life difficult. They don't do anything for us. And yet I love those little punks. Like, I freaking love them. I would die for them.
Yep.
And I never really understood God and Jesus Christ until I had kids. Like, I never fully grasped it because I go, oh, Jesus says that God is our Father and we are his children and we can't do anything for him. He does everything for us. We screw up again and again and again, and he pays the bill. He died on the cross. Like, there's nothing, and there's nothing, like my kids, there's nothing they could do that would make me love them less. Like, I want them to get A's in school, and I want them to score goals, and I want them to be nice, but like, it's not going to change how much I love them. And I go, oh, so now I understand that, like, God wants me to have good things. He wants me to make good choices, but that's not my relationship with him. Is like, I could screw everything up just like my kids could screw everything up. I love them because they're mine. I love them because they're my kids. And I go, the light bulb came on for me to go, oh, that's why God loves me, just because I'm his. Just because I was created by him, just like my kids. Like, I had a small part to do with their creation. And it's like, so
I love
that's it, man. I mean, that's what's rocked my world.
Last shot on the book, because I want to make sure that we do talk about it, because I love just how personal you are. Thank you. In the book, Wealthy and Well Known, if there's one lesson that the world remembers 10 years from now, what would you want it to be? If there's one thing that you teach and AJ teaches in this book, and like, man, 10 years from now, I remember when I read that book, Wealthy and Well Known, what's the lesson you want everyone to remember?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally inscribed right on the cover. I showed this earlier, but I didn't mention it. So this is a little Easter egg. If you do get the hardcover book, if you open the flap, it says, you are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. This is the greatest epiphany that God's ever given to us. It's his, it's through us. It's love God and love others, right? It's what Jesus said. And I go, honestly, no one's going to remember Rory or AJ, and they don't need to. Like, no one's going to remember any of us. Like, but the people that will remember us is the people that you've served.
That's
right. Those people will remember you. And if those people serve people, then I think your legacy lives on. And so you go, it's actually really simple too, Todd. It's hard to see it yourself. Like you mentioned, when you're a client, you come and we take people through the process. So if you can't get there, I mean, obviously, again, you can go download the audiobook for free, freebrandAudiobook.com/Durkin. Like, we give you the whole process in the book, and we're giving you the book for free. So like, if you're still struggling to get there, or you're not totally sure you got it, then, request a call with us and we'll talk to you about it. But the simplicity of it is you just have to ask yourself, what challenge have you conquered?
That's right.
What obstacles have you overcome? What setbacks have you survived? What tragedies have you triumphed over? Because when we go through bad things in life, it's easy to go, we all question God and we go, why is this happening to me? What did I do? Like, how is this? How could this be good? How can this be fair? How can this be a just God if I did nothing wrong and this bad thing happened to me? And what we've realized from doing this work with personal brands is going, what if the pain that you're going through had nothing to do with you? It was just God's way of shaping you and sharpening you and making you and molding you into exactly the person that you needed to be, so that one day you could reach back and help somebody else.
So good.
That's the core of this. And this is about finding God's divine design of your humanity, and about making your life count. How do you make your life count? Is it by tallying up a scoreboard of money or fame or followers or awards? Like, literally no one is. You're going to lose all of that, and no one's going to remember or care about any of that stuff. It's so just going, my life counted to the people who I had access to. I served an audience in the deepest way. And that's a divine truth. And it's also a business truth, because the most powerful form of marketing in the world is a changed life. So if you care about helping people and you actually deliver services and value and goods that help them, that's the only marketing you'll ever need. People will go tell them, right? Like, we're here today because you and I became friends. Hopefully we helped you a little bit, and you go, man, I will gladly share my entire audience with you because I believe in what you do. And that's what this is about.
Man, I love you, brother. It's so good today to hear this. And please just give my best to AJ. This is just awesome today. Thank you for sharing yourself, man. Really, really awesome. Is there anything I should have asked you that I did not ask you today?
No, I mean, we hit the core of it, right? I mean, there's a lot more. I mean, we've just scratched the surface.
I know.
And by the way, part of the reason why we give away the audiobook is because we have 14 different courses. So this is just one, right? Yeah. So like, it's so deep and it's rich, but it's like, there's so much more. So that's why we're like, we can give it away. Like, because we want people to experience it. I think, Brand Builders Group was never created to be a profit maximization machine. Brand Builders Group was created to be an impact maximization machine. And that's why you and I are so aligned. And like,
Preach.
The best thing that somebody could do is take what we give them. And clients ask me all the time, they're like, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And I'm like, well, first of all, like, God has really like put us in a place, we don't need a lot, but like, if there's one thing you could do for me, it would be go out and serve people in a way that you become super wealthy, so wealthy that you have far more than you ever need, that you can give a ton of it away, and super well known and respected to where people follow real leaders and people with integrity and an honest heart, and go, when our clients succeed, that's the best marketing there is for us. And it's also the thing that makes the world a better place. And the same will be true about your businesses and your personal brands. So, Todd, I'm just honored that you share your platform with me, bro. I love you. You're my brother in Christ, and you do such a great thing. So thanks for letting me be here, man.
Thank you, Rory. Guys, check it out. freebrandAudiobook.com/Durkin. Check it out. Check out all that Rory has going on. He is really serving a lot of people, and I can't thank you enough. I can't wait to see you in the flesh. Give you a big old hug and lock you up, my man. So, Rory, have a great day. Thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
You too, brother. God bless.
Wow. Oh, wow. Rory Vaden, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You talk about a man who is authentic and real. That is Rory Vaden, and he's created a lot of success in his business, but you could see it goes way deeper than just success and financial wealth and success. He talks about wealth meaning peace, right? And peace and joy, and how you find more peace and joy in all that you do. And I love that he just so unequivocally shared his faith with how he runs his businesses and his family and all of that. I want to just encourage you again. He is offering his book, his complete book, for free on audio. So go check it out. Again, it's freebrandAudiobook.com/Durkin. My name, Durkin. If you go there, you can download the entire audiobook, and it's awesome. It's an awesome book. I encourage you to go there and check it out and follow Rory. He really does consult and work with many of the top personal brands out there, as well as a lot of folks who are just the mom and pops who are looking to get their story out there. So great job, Rory Vaden, and great job you for listening into this entire podcast. As always, I say thank you. If you could give us a 5-star rating and write a review, it really helps us continue to to have the Impact Show climb up the podcast ladder. We want to reach more people and impact more people. And it's because of people like you that can help us fulfill our mission to be the light. Thank you so much. God bless y'all. Have an incredible day and go out there. And remember, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create impact.